Hi, I'm Cindy Lasher. I'm with ChangeWorks Hypnosis Center in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I'm glad you're here. I get a lot of questions about what hypnosis is and what hypnosis feels like and what kind of issues that I work with. So I wanted to answer some of those for you today. First of all, just wanted to introduce myself, Cindy Lasher, and I'm the founder of ChangeWorks Hypnosis Center in Burnsville, Minnesota. I've been doing this I started in 2007, so I'm going into my 15th year. Prior to this, I did human resources work. I have an undergraduate degree in education. I was certified secondary, and I have a master's degree from Augsburg in leadership, and I used that in my work in human resources and occupational development. Um, I find that that background really helps me with this work, because when we talk about training and occupational development, organizational development, um, one of the things that we talk about a lot is transfer, taking concepts from a training situation and then seeing those actually be applied in your day-to-day work, in the case of training for human resources types of activities. In what I do here, it's really the same. That concept is still important, because these sessions can't just exist in isolation. You bring the work that we do here into your life, and it changes how you think and how you feel, and therefore how you behave. And it feels natural, it feels normal. And that's when we get what we would call transfer. And so that's what I'm really looking for my clients. My background from hypnotherapy, my dad was actually a hypnotist. He was a social worker, worked with juvenile delinquents in the correctional facility. And so he learned hypnosis to help them to transfer some of these skills that they're learning in the correctional facility. How to think differently, how to feel differently, how to control that anger or make different choices from what got them in trouble to begin with. And so those are the kinds of concepts that I work with on a daily basis. I took my hypnotherapy training at the Hypnosis Motivation Institute in Tarzana, California. It was the first accredited institution for training hypnotherapy in the country. It was founded in 1968. It was a 408-hour program, and I feel very well served by it. I have also continued to get my basic master's and training certifications in neurolinguistic programming, NLP, and pursued a number of other certifications as well as the board certified hypnotist status from the National Guild of Hypnotists. One of the questions I get a lot is, what is hypnosis? And so a lot of people are familiar with hypnosis from movies and TV and people swinging watches and all of that. But really what hypnosis is a lot more mundane from a observer's standpoint. It isn't about mind control. It isn't a zombie-like state. You don't lose consciousness. You don't fall asleep. It is really a utilization of trance. And we've all been in a trance state, whether you are watching a movie or watching TV or just zoning out, or those times when you've driven your car and you get to your destination and you go, I don't remember the last 20 minutes of that drive, and I know I went through a stoplight or two, and I couldn't tell you whether I stopped or not. I don't even know if the lights were red or green. I literally don't remember. You were in a trance state at that time. And what we do in hypnosis is we use that natural state of mind and the properties that it has, because in those trance-like states, the critical part of your mind that prevents and protects you from receiving suggestions kind of willy-nilly from the world, because we're all getting suggestions all the time, whether it's commercials on the radio or something our best friend is saying. And that critical factor of your mind prevents you from changing things that are already in your subconscious mind, the sort of the programming for who you are and how you live your life. And where you run into problems with that is it's hard to let go of habits, hard to stop smoking, hard to stop snacking in the evening, hard to get comfortable and let go of the fear to be able to stand in front of people and present, or drive a car. I've seen so much fear of driving in this practice, maybe because it's a big metro area. And so that critical faculty of your mind, it's a wonderful thing to have, but every once in a while we would like that part of us to just stand off to the side and let some trusted messages come through to change how we feel about things, how we think about things, how we make choices, because we do know better for ourselves. We do know better that we should not smoke. We do know better that we shouldn't have that snack in the evening, or maybe if we are going to have one, it should be that something healthy. We do know on a conscious basis that we're just as worthy as anybody else, and that we should be able to stand up in front of a group of people and say so. So that critical faculty of the mind in a trance state kind of goes to sleep. And so we take advantage of that in hypnosis, and we deliver suggestions that allow the mind to use its natural learning mechanism to basically rewrite those previous suggestions, wherever you got them from. In case of habit, just from doing something over and over and over again for a long period of time, or maybe with that example of public speaking, of having a bad experience, maybe in 5th grade or 7th grade or something like that. And to say, those things don't matter anymore. What matters is this. This is who you are and how you feel now. And look at how wonderful that is going forward. And we use that in hypnosis. Have you actually experienced what it's like to then be that healthy non-smoker, or be that person who doesn't snack in the evening, or be that person who feels totally comfortable to stand in front of that group and really be recognized and seen for the expertise that you have and be able to express it well. That's what hypnosis is. People also want to know, what does hypnosis feel like? And if we go back to that example of just sort of being in a trance-like state, watching TV, maybe falling halfway asleep, that's pretty much what hypnosis feels like. I use the example in my client work a lot. I say, have you ever just caught yourself staring off into the middle distance, not thinking anything? You're probably not even blinking. You don't remember getting there. You didn't decide to do that. It just sort of spontaneously happened while you were supposed to be doing something else. And you're just zoning, staring off into the middle distance. Your body feels really still. Maybe it feels a little heavy. Maybe it feels a little light. Like maybe you feel like you're floating a little bit, or if you could let them, your arms would want to sort of just kind of float up, that feeling. That's what hypnosis feels like. Most people feel very calm, very relaxed. I've had a number of people say that's the most relaxed I've ever felt in my life. And that makes me feel a little, I feel two ways about that. It's certainly a compliment. I appreciate the ability to give them that experience. But it saddens me, because I think everyone should feel that relaxed on a regular basis. So that's what hypnosis feels like. It feels very calming, very relaxing. Some people feel heavier. I've had people say, I just felt so heavy, I could not lift my arm. So for them, that felt true. It felt like they literally couldn't. Most people feel like they kind of know, I could lift my arm if I wanted to, but it just feels like a lot of effort right now. And they don't want to. And that's one of the hallmarks of the state of hypnosis, is the feeling of wanting to remain motionless. And you really don't have to. You wouldn't snap out of the state. I've danced the Roomba in a ballroom in hypnosis as part of a hypnosis show. But it does feel good. And so there's a reticence to let go of that good feeling. And that's what hypnosis feels like. So another question that I get regularly is, can anyone be hypnotized? And the answer is no, not everyone can be hypnotized, but by far the majority of people can be hypnotized. There's two kinds of people that can't be hypnotized. people who don't want to be hypnotized. And because hypnosis is a voluntary thing. Going into trance can be involuntary, like we talked about, just finding yourself sort of zoning out. You didn't choose to do it. Or when you're driving the car and you're like, I don't remember the last 20 minutes of drive. You didn't make a choice to go into that state. And if you could, you'd probably choose to go into it more often because it is good. But hypnosis, when working with a professional, when you know that hypnosis is being offered to you, that's a choice. That's a totally of a volitional state. And if somebody says no, then no, and I wouldn't even try. It wouldn't be correct. But nobody comes to my office with that idea. I mean, they come here to be hypnotized. The second type of person that can't be hypnotized, people with an IQ of below 70, and generally that's a lack of ability to remain focused for an extended period of time, because that is one of the hallmarks of hypnosis, is just being in that narrowed state of attention, that focused state of attention where you're not thinking about a million different things for a fairly extended period of time, 15, 20, 25 minutes. So people often ask me what issues I work with, because if you go online and you look at a few hypnotists' websites, you will see very long lists of things that can be worked with in hypnosis, and it's true. And you can also go on to Google Scholar and reach into the PubMed, the scholarly articles and research papers, and find that hypnosis has been and is used for all kinds of things. And I am actually trained in more things than I actually practice in my practice. I commonly see people for behavioral change. So that's the big umbrella. Underneath that, the things that I normally see: smoking cessation, a whole lot of it, weight release, changing habits around weight release, weight loss and maintenance, and fears, phobias, and anxieties. As I said, fear of driving, fear of public speaking. I've seen fears for you name it. I've probably seen it: spiders, bees, birds, what else? All kinds of things. Whether it's whether you consider it to be a fear or a phobia, either way, it responds the same way. I also see people for a lot of sleep issues. Sleep problems respond really, really well to hypnosis. So I do a lot of sleep work. In fact, there are sleep clinics in the area that refer people to me when they can't get a resolution with the tools that they use, because generally they're looking to, if they do a sleep study, they're looking to either provide a prescription medication or a CPAP or a BiPAP machine. So things like nightmares and things of that nature, other types of, I don't know what, there's spirits. I don't know. So those kinds of things that don't resolve, idiopathic sleep issues come to see me a lot. Idiopathic means no known reason. So yeah, those are the types of things that I work with regularly. If you're looking to work with something, however, that doesn't fall into those categories, reach out to me. Chances are I've probably worked with it before, and I'll be happy to let you know whether or not I think that hypnosis can benefit you there. So how long does it normally take to get results from hypnosis? Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you that I do 3 sessions for smoking cessation, 1 week apart. We taper, we quit. I do offer a lifetime service guarantee with that. So if somebody ever starts smoking again, they can come back to see me for free. Other issues like sleep problems, fears, phobias, weight issues, other behavioral types of issues like that, I usually start people with a 5-session program, and that does it for 95+% of people who come to see me. There are some people who have, maybe more weight to lose and want to continue to have the support, that may come back to see me, and see me monthly for a few more months. I just recently wrapped up with a gentleman who lost 80 pounds. He started working with me last December, and he wrapped up with me here in October, and it's December as I'm recording this right now. So he saw me for the better part of a year. but he lost 80 pounds. And it's in those kinds of situations, it's good to continue to have the support, because the, the, the issues, your reality changes, right? So I helped him to move. He had all this motivation to lose the weight, but once he got to a certain point and he was looking better and most of the weight was gone, it's like, now how do I maintain my motivation? So we had a new thing to work through and to help him to create a mindset that then allows him to be thin and healthy for life, not just in response to some sort of painful issue of being overweight. And that's an important thing to understand, is that the human mind understands two forms of motivation: away from pain and toward pleasure. As we move you out of your pain, as we move you from being a smoker, and it's filthy and disgusting and it costs a lot of money and my spouse is on my butt and da 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 da, and we get away from that pain and now you're a non-smoker. That's why I do extra sessions, 3 sessions, because I want to help you to develop then that lifelong mindset that says, now that I've got this, there are all these wonderful benefits, and I'm going to enjoy those and keep my mind focused on those, so that I continue to remain a happy, healthy, natural non-smoker. So that's how I work. If there's anything specific, any specific needs that somebody has, I'm always happy to talk about exceptions to the rule as well.